Welcome to the second installment of our video series. If you want to issue cost-effective, high-yield debt and not overly restrict your business's ability to grow, you have to understand how the covenants work and how to structure a tailored covenant package. In the last video, I provided an overview of high-yield bonds in Asia, discussing their advantages and purpose and the design features of different high-yield covenants. If you missed that, please check the info bar for the link to the previous video. In this video, we will explain the high-yield covenant package, including understanding the credit group concept and which companies in a complicated group structure form part of that group, general principles for a high-yield covenant package, and the issue of structural subordination. Many corporate groups in Asia have complicated structures, with holding companies and operating companies scattered across a few jurisdictions. These structures exist for practical operating and tax efficiency reasons, but they present complexities when structuring a high-yield bond. First of all, it is important to know who needs to comply with the covenants. As a general rule of thumb, the covenants should apply to all entities that generate positive cash flow and hold key operating assets of the company. These are the companies that note holders will look to for payment. These entities that constitute the credit group and fall within what is sometimes referred to as the box. Only these entities in the box are subject to the covenant package. The financial strength and asset quality of this credit group form the basis of the credit story presented to investors and rating agencies and ultimately impact the marketability and pricing of the bonds. Structuring the right high-yield covenant package is crucial to the ongoing operations of an issuer. It requires balancing adequate protections for the note holders while also preserving operating flexibility so the issuer can continue to implement its business plan. Of course, the covenant package can't be seen as overly issuer-friendly, which may be considered off-market and result in a higher coupon. But at the same time, issuers need to ensure activities are not unduly restricted and that future flexibility is available. To achieve this balance, an issuer should consider all reasonably foreseeable transactions and activities that it may engage in while the bonds are outstanding. This requires understanding the covenants themselves and brainstorming all of the things that might happen while the bonds are in place. For a 7-year or 10-year note, this discussion can become pretty wide-ranging. This might include things like future acquisitions, joint ventures, or other investments, future financing plans and requirements, and potential changes in the way a company might run its day-to-day operations. This type of thoughtful planning when the deal is put together will prevent frustrations in the future. Moreover, it will set expectations with the company raising the debt that all possible flexibility has been discussed, even if certain items don't find their way into the covenant package for commercial reasons. After thinking about the credit group and what flexibility the issuer needs or wants, parties need to pause to consider the degree of structural subordination that is contained in the package. This is a real issue for many Asia high-yield issuers where cross-border structures are common. We talk about contractual subordination and lien subordination in our high-yield guide, but here we'll focus only on structural subordination. Many times, high-yield bonds are issued by a holding company without the benefit of any upstream guarantees. In this situation, structurally senior debt is issued by the operating company or subsidiaries where the operations and assets of the issuer reside. The structurally senior debt may have restrictions on the ability of the operating company to make dividends and other payments to the issuer. Structurally subordinated notes, notes where there is this operating debt below, are effectively junior to the right of payment to the senior debt. As such, the operating company and its subsidiaries are not directly or indirectly obligated to make payments on the bonds. As a result, note holders and other creditors of the issuer holding company have no direct access to the assets or cash of the operating company and its subsidiaries. The covenant package should seek to minimize the degree of structural subordination because a high degree of subordination will put negative pressure on the rating and investors' appetite for the bonds. So to sum up, to understand which entities need to comply with the high-yield covenants, it is important to understand which parts of a corporate group fall within the credit group or the box. And a high-yield covenant package needs to balance adequate protections for the note holders with preserving operating flexibility for the issuer so it can't be a race to the bottom or throw in the kitchen sink approach when negotiating the covenant package. For more detail on these features, click on the link in the info bar to download our full high yield guide, where we cover these topics in more detail. In the next video, we'll discuss the debt covenant and how it provides flexibility to continue to operate the business without over-leveraging the credit group.